the son of a dream looking to realize his destiny in WWE. Multiple tag team and intercontinental championship reigns during his first run here in WWE. But now that the prodigal son has returned, Cody Rhodes has reached main event status.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 220 pounds.
こんにちは、皆さん。グレートオーカーユナイテッドエンパイア。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
I hear the battle cry under the devil's sky. The one-winged angel screams. It fuels my hopes and dreams. The best that I shine.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, the reigning, defending Broken Predictions champion, King Rome. How are you doing tonight, sir?
What a go-home show, Jeff. What an absolute fucking hell of a go-home show.
Yeah, I thought so too. Ed in chat doesn't seem to agree with us, but we'll do some of our roundtable debating on that as we go through. Welcome to everybody in chat. Thank you guys very much for joining us here tonight. We got Joseph Juhas, we got the Coog, we got Ed. Welcome, guys. Michael Duke is here as well. I thought this was an excellent episode of Dynamite here tonight. Maybe I agree with Ed slightly, like not their greatest go-home show, but I still thought this was an excellent episode of Dynamite. Had a couple of really, really good segments that I absolutely enjoyed. I thought this was a decent showing for a go home show, especially since we got a Rampage to do a go home as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that at the end of the day, there was a lot of great stories that were told here. I mean, I thought every segment on the show, for the most part, I mean, I have some that I didn't like, admittedly, but for the most part, every segment got me some more excited for the pay-per-view as we went through the night. And at the end of the day, that's the point of the go home show.
All right, I'm not sure if you were able to hear that, cracking my first can of liquid death here tonight, absolutely murdering our thirst on the Broken Tables podcast.
I don't know if you heard that.
So Rome, we got the first round of the King's Court Invitational coming up here.
Yes.
You ready for me to go ahead and announce our matchups?
Absolutely. Are you doing the honor since you have all the graphics playing?
Yes, I will be doing it.
Absolutely, go for it.
All right, everybody. So here we go. We got the King's Court Invitational. All right, guys. Coming up first in the first round is going to be myself here, Jeffrey Vegas, going up against one of my longtime friends, longtime rivals, Joseph Juhas. And coming up next, one of our longtime supporters of the podcast, Coach Nick. Coach Nick will be facing the one, the only, Ed Weber. Next up on the other side of the bracket, we will have Jeffrey Vegas's lovely wife, Purpleness. She will be facing off against the legendary, the Coog. And then the last but not least, over on the bottom right side of the bracket, we have Natasha. Natasha will be facing the mystery opponent of our invitational here, the Joker. So good luck, everybody, in round one. Make sure we follow Rome's instructions over on the Discord. We will be having the a deadline for getting Rome your picks in. Make sure you get them in. Rome, what's the deadline for the picks here?
All right, so here's the final rules that I've come up with for the tournament. Again, just to help me keep it organized and everything like that. So, to submit your picks to the tournament, it is not going to be done during the pre-show, because during the pre-show, I want everybody to kind of just be shooting the shit, talking, not just trying to compete and score prediction points and stuff like that. So, what we're going to do is you must either via my Twitter or my Discord DM me the picks for the tournament. Number one, the cutoff time is the start of our podcast on Friday night. So that means as Rampage is going off the air. In the Discord, I will be coming up with bonus points that will be our usual shtick, bonus points for stuff like that. When you send your picks in, send in the predictions for those as well. I think that generally is it. Oh, last rule. I am not going to be pressing anyone for picks. If you miss something, it's on you. So be diligent. We are going to run through the card tonight. Make sure you know the card, and yeah, let's have fun with it. Now, Jeff, I received something today in regards to your matchup. So I'm currently
okay. Something from Mr. Juhas.
Yeah, so I'm currently I have just sent it to you via Discord. If you could play it for our wonderful viewers and listeners.
All right, let's see if I can do this.
Now, for the record, for everyone, Jeff has not heard this yet.
Yeah, I have not heard this. Let's get to our display. Bam.
I didn't even feel like doing this today.
Oh. Hang on. It's going through YouTube. Okay, I have YouTube turned down. Let's see if I can crank it.
I didn't even feel like doing this today. I had a long day. But Jeffrey Vegas, you're a fool. You're a fence-sitting, haphazard wrestling fan. I just wish you would admit that you're a WWE stan and that everything you do revolves around what Hunter does. We've been saying this for years. I've been saying this for years, on top of Rome saying it for years. So I think it's time for you just to admit that you like it. I see you in chat every day talking about what WWE's doing. Ever since you showed me that picture of the Big Show working out and made the biggest deal about it, I knew you were a mark. You're still a mark. Christ, you wouldn't even go and see an indie show with us. You were too busy to do that. But of course, now that you're an AEW stan, because you gotta appease the fan crowd, you went and bought tickets to go to Canada for what? Bro, you make me laugh. You ain't nothing but a fry cook. Get your shit together.
Hit me with the fry cook. Oh man.
So Jeffrey Vegas,
I thought we were friends, Joe. I thought we were friends.
I'm very excited to see how this tournament shakes out. Obviously, as we discussed, I pretty much threw these matches together, all with different ideas in mind in the tournament bracket. And this is one of the ones that I really wanted to ensure happened, which is why I threw it together in the first round. Because, Jeff, I'm not going to lie to you. You have a terrible win-loss track record. I wasn't sure you were going to make it to the second round.
I'm pretty sure I'm like 101. Like
You
one
are-
being a tie. Like you and I tied that one time. We came to a draw.
It's just business.
Just business.
Um,
Touche, sir. Touche.
Yeah, he's just working, man. Yeah, exactly.
That's Joe, the Broken Tables podcast. Oh, that hurts, man. I couldn't even be like Soda Popinski, like halfway, you know? Oh.
No, you're the Glass Joe. You get your ass kicked all the time. You're the jobber.
Oh man, this was excellent. All right, so I hope everybody's excited for that. Anybody who's here that is not part of the invitational, you know that you do have that to look forward to in the future. We are going to be doing this all the time. Our chat is a big part of our podcast. You know, we love you guys throwing stuff in chat, asking us questions, all that stuff. So never hesitate to throw something in the chat. You can always try to steer the direction of the podcast. You know, so. All right, we got a couple of things in the news world, but you know they were kind of part of the show tonight. We got Aussie Open has been announced. They are all elite, man. I am super excited about this. We heard a little bit of rumblings of the WWE was interested in them. We heard that their New Japan Pro Wrestling contracts were either up or they weren't signed with them at all. I'm not exactly sure how that was working out there, but. All of a sudden here tonight, we had Kyle Fletcher versus Orange Cassidy to start off the show for the AEW International Championship. But Aussie Open signed with AEW. How you feel about that?
I'm thrilled. I mean, the AEW tag team division is the best tag team division in wrestling, and it just got stronger, just got better. So, I mean, you're telling me that in the same company you have, and this is just scratching the surface, of course. You have the Bucks, the Lucha Bros, FTR, Aussie Open, the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
Again, we could go on. It's a stacked division, and I think it's something that the Bucks definitely take pride in. The fact that AEW's tag division is as strong as it is. But I mean, it's a great signing for them. I mean, I just think it makes a lot of sense. I think AEW makes a lot of sense for a lot of New Japan wrestlers, especially the ones who do a lot of work in the States. Because AEW and New Japan have a good relationship. You know, why wouldn't you sign with AEW and kind of do both? Like, I don't know. I think it's a great decision by them. I think it's something that really works for all parties involved because, yeah, I think you're still going to see Aussie Open in New Japan. Maybe not as often, but I think you'll still see them. I did think it was kind of weird when they had to drop both their tag titles a couple weeks ago. Due to injury. I thought that was kind of weird, especially because they're really only as a tag team. You know, Mark Davis only out for I think 6 weeks. So I thought that was weird to have them drop the belts over that kind of time. But now it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. And you know what this shows for me a little bit is there's been a growing trend of choosing AEW over the WWE recently. You know, we got Jay White. There was huge rumors that he was supposed to show up at WrestleMania, stuff like that, and he shows up at what was it? It was the Dynamite after WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then now we got Roderick Strong came over here, and he was literally still on the NXT roster. That's one of my favorite things over the last couple of months, man. That was pretty funny.
I mean, it's all about the momentum that the company has this year. I mean, obviously. We don't know if it's true or not. It probably is true, but WWE is on their hiring freeze right now because they're getting ready to make cuts. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, like, look, even Hulk Hogan said it today. He was on with Ariel today, and Ariel really wanted Hogan to kind of shit on AEW, and he was like, "Nah, man." He's like, they just need a few more years of just doing their thing, and they're going to be a viable contender in the business. And I was very surprised.
So was I.
To hear Hogan take that stance, especially, when you look at his contemporaries, his friends around him, they do not feel that way. They feel the opposite. But so I think that it's just the momentum that the company has right now, the momentum that they're riding this year, all of the pieces are aligning after that step that they took backwards last year. From 2020, 2022 obviously was nowhere near as good as 2021. Hogan just jockeying for some
work.
That's possible, but I don't know. You never know. I think that if he wanted a check from WWE just to stay quiet, they would pay him. He's Hulk Hogan. That's just my opinion. But I don't know. I think that the company has really kind of put itself on a great trajectory here. Whether people can agree or disagree about things, but just All In, the second show with Collision, Punk coming back, just everyone kind of getting back on the same page with Collision coming in. It just seems like everybody's going to be on TV. Like, I don't know. It almost feels like the Smash Brothers Ultimate thing where it's like everybody's here. Where it's like, man, everything just feels like it's getting ready to start clicking. There's not really much going on in a negative headspace in the AEW world right now.
No, yeah.
Again, the Fight Forever, All In, Forbidden Door, All Out.
Yep.
Like, it's great. And they're going to start running bigger arenas. I mean, they're doing the Prudential Center in Jersey, and it's a free TV show. It's Collision. It's like, it's not a pay-per-view. So they're like, if they're going to start running a little bit bigger venues as well, like that's also the next step for them in their evolution. I think that's really all. I guess they have done a Dynamite there. I take it back. We were there for a Dynamite.
Yeah, we
but
went to that one.
we did go to that one. You are right. But point still kind of stands in my opinion. I mean, it's just
Yeah, I hope they graduate up to the bigger stadiums one day soon. But you had mentioned CM Punk. That's kind of a perfect segue here into the next little news piece. During the show, Tony Khan did announce the location for the Collision, the first episode of Collision, will be held inside the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. So looks like the second coming is almost all but confirmed.
So there was a lot of talk over this past week about like whether Punk was going to do it, whether he wasn't, whether he was. I mean, I'm still of the mind that for the last couple. So Ed says that I'm loud and clear, but you're a little quiet, Jeff.
So Ed, we did get Rome a new microphone. So when you said crank it, now.
Yeah, I know. It's my brand new mic. I like it a lot. It seems like it's going really good. Hold on, I haven't picked it up yet though. Oh yeah, that'll work. That's good. I should like have it like this. Do like the old Mr. Kennedy thing.
Where it hangs.
Kennedy.
We could do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Sounds great. Thanks, Ed. We were hoping it sounded good.
I know. I'm trying.
The
to
last one made you sound like you were in like an echoey room, but this one's nice.
It really bothered me. So I had been looking, and you sent this one along the way, and it's worked out pretty well. Anyways, yeah. So I'm very excited for CM Punk to come back. It was a get hype moment for me. I was very hype. I still am very hype. I'm very excited. He's my favorite wrestler of all time, and I'm not saying that jokes aside and gimmicks aside, I'm not saying that the guy is incapable of doing wrong. But the heart wants what it wants, and he's my favorite wrestler, and he's coming back, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I agree, man. I can't wait. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our AEW Dynamite review here from the MGM Grand in my home town of Las Vegas, Nevada. We started off with the AEW International Championship, Orange Cassidy versus Kyle Fletcher. This was a great match. They always are. I love when Orange Cassidy starts off Dynamite. Now, forgive me for the question. I know you're going to hate this, but do they start Dynamite with Orange Cassidy too much? Or can that even be a thing?
No, he's a ratings draw.
Yeah, I really love when his song hits right away and you kind of know it's coming. Kind of just puts that little bit of a smile on your face. You know what I mean?
For me, I think we're kind of at a point where Orange Cassidy is synonymous with the opening of Dynamite.
That's kind of how I feel too.
It almost feels like something's not right if it's not starting with Orange Cassidy. I'm just being honest, and then, like he's such a standard flag bearer for just capturing that audience. That like when he doesn't open the show, it's kind of like, oh, something feels weird. It feels off.
Yeah, that is definitely true. OC's
Exactly.
the leadoff batter, says the Coug. I like that. I like that.
That is a great way to put it. That really is.
Tony Khan is a sports guy, so yeah, I like that. So like I said, this was a great match, and this was for the AEW International Championship, and we do have the Blackjack Battle Royale on Sunday, but they did make sure to say, hey, whoever wins this match is going to be champion going into that Blackjack Battle Royale. And I actually wasn't opposed to Orange Cassidy losing here and then going into the Blackjack to try to win it back. So it really made me question whether Orange was just going to win this one right off the bat. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I didn't think tonight was the night, but I get your point.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just enough to put the doubt in my mind to where, like, I wasn't expecting Orange to win right from the drop. You know what I mean? But, it just put the doubt into it there, which I actually enjoyed. I absolutely loved the match. Um, that avalanche driver that Kyle Fletcher hit Orange Cassidy with off the top rope. That thing looked like he killed him. Like absolutely looked like he murdered him. I don't know. That was incredible. Orange Cassidy kicks out at 2.9999. Orange Cassidy wins with a what do they call that? An over the top rollover roll up. I'm not sure what you call that move, but kind of where you dive over the top of the guy and you roll him up. Orange Cassidy picks up the 1-2-3 in a great match here. Kyle Fletcher looked awesome, and I'm super glad to have Aussie Open as a part of AEW. And this just makes me really believe that the next step is going to be Will Ospreay, you know?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they run that match back for Forbidden Door, Cassidy and Ospreay. To be honest, I mean, I think you want to do some different matches for Forbidden Door this year, but I mean, I still stand by that match as my match of the year last year. Because it was the best wrestling match on anywhere. But I don't know. I think that there's a lot of cool things that we could do with Will Ospreay, because I think they're also kind of teasing Kenny Ospreay for Forbidden Door, so that might also be the way to go, especially with Don.
Yeah, and I think Will is just absolutely perfect candidate for that international title. Cassidy's got 22 defenses under his belt now. He's got basically the best title reign in AEW history going on here. I think it would be a great thing for Will Ospreay to possibly show up at not Forbidden Door, at Double or Nothing in this 20-man. They didn't announce a whole lot of people for it. I know they announced, I think just Ricky Starks was announced for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really announce anyone. It was more so Ricky said he's in it, and I think that Juice and Jay White also said
I would
they were
imagine,
in it.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think the three of them are in it, but it wasn't like confirmed in like an announcement of the card sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, hey, we're gonna be in it. Let's see. Ed says when he loses, it needs to be on the heels of a real feud. So I think that they should give Orange Cassidy. I think they should give him a run at MJF. I don't think they need to do it at a pay-per-view, but I think that's something that they should definitely do kind of in the summer months after Forbidden Door. If I were them, I would do something like that, because obviously he's going to defend the title at Double or Nothing. I mean, look, I'm not making predictions. I'm not competing. I think MJF is going to be the champion for at least till the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll see.
I know others could disagree, and I'm not going to go into too many predictions, but I think MJF he'll probably take on a big name from New Japan for the title, maybe Okada.
Oof, that'd be nuts, dude. Oh my god.
I think that could be a way that they could do it. And then after that, I think you have MJF versus Cassidy over the summer. And then I think you do. I saw a really great tweet the other day. I don't remember who tweeted it, but I love this idea. I think here's what you do for next year or this year's Grand Slam. You know, when they go back to like New York and they do.
Yep.
Jeff, how would you feel in New York for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship? Maxwell Jacob Friedman, a New Yorker, not from that part of New York, but from Long Island, defending his championship against the hometown hero, Eddie Kingston.
Ooh, that'd be nice. I would enjoy that quite a bit.
So that's what I would do. Put the mic
I'm
down.
definitely going to say don't do the whole mic pickup thing.
Oh, man. I'm used to that. Why? How bad was it?
It just makes you like crazy loud blowing speakers out. Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep it in mind. Sorry, picking up the mic is kind of my thing. So I guess
if you do it, do like a whisper as you're doing it. Maybe not a whisper, but like talking really smoothly.
So like this?
Bad. Yeah, it was wild.
Okay. Anyways.
I like what Ed says here. Orange loses the international title and says, guess I'll go after the world title, huh? Like, that would be really nice. I actually like that. That's a great idea, Ed.
Sorry, Ed.
All right, next up we had Ricky Starks doing a promo. He's announced as the second entrant into the Blackjack Battle Royale. He starts to cut a promo on Jay White and Juice Robinson, but he gets attacked by Juice and Jay. Man, they really got Ricky here pretty good. They smashed him into one of the wheeling boxes. The what do they call those boxes? I don't, just large crates, I guess you would call it. They put him on top of it and smashed him with a chair. And they basically said, listen here, Ricky, you think you're done with us? No. You're not done with us till we say you're done with us. And they're just going to make his life living hell, I like this. I love Jay White and Juice Robinson together. I love the Bullet Club Gold. So, going to be nice.
Yeah, I thought it was a good beatdown by them. I really so when they both kind of like pull up their chairs to sit over Ricky, I was just thinking like, man, I really actually love this tandem. It was the first moment where I was like, this is such a good little group they have right here between Jay and Juice, where it's like Juice is just kind of like Ricky, and like Jay White's being a little bit more sinister but straightforward with it. Need a mic boom. Yeah, that's coming, Ed. That's coming. But yeah, I love how straightforward Jay is, and then the contrast of Juice kind of just being like a joker almost. Like I really like that.
Yeah. I love the way Juice just yells Ricky all the time. He's just like, Ricky, Ricky. All right, and next up we had a Jungle Boy promo. Talking about how he used to drive to Las Vegas all the time for I think he was talking about the first Double or Nothing and the first Dynamite and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. He's from Hollywood, I believe.
Well, so he's from California, but not Hollywood. I don't think he's from
somewhere
Hollywood.
in that area.
I think he's from around where the Bucks are from.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, Jack basically talks about how every year he's been a Double or Nothing since the beginning of the company, and every year he makes the same drive to Vegas. He drives to Vegas, and he says that he reflects over where his career has changed each year. And he's talking about that, he drives to the ring, the building, but he goes to the ring, and that ring lets him be the person he wants to be and do the things he wants to do. And he says that he's looking forward to that drive that he always takes on Monday morning, when he's driving home as champion. I thought this was a great promo from him.
I thought it was good too, but later on when MJF kind of makes fun of it being boring, I was kind of like, it was. You know what I mean?
I think that we can agree that Jack's, I think all the pillars have their strengths and weaknesses to an extent, but I think Jack's not a talker. Comparatively to the other pillars. I think the other pillars are much better talkers than him. But I think that the nice thing about Jack is that he doesn't always need to talk. And I also think that there's room for him to improve. We've seen great mic work from him. He just has to kind of bring it out on a more consistent level. And I thought he did that tonight. I thought this was really good. Obviously, yeah, he's hit or miss, but I thought tonight was a hit for him. That's just my opinion.
It definitely felt like they were trying to bring him back from the the beating Roosh gave him last week.
That's just, I don't know, man. Like, I know we talked about it last week. I think that was just the style of story that they were going to tell here. I think, they put Roosh over. They made him look credible. He got heat.
Yeah. And,
yeah, Jack Perry hung in there.
I saw some people, not happy with that match at all. Like, very, very unhappy with that. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Next up, we had FTR make their way down to the ring. FTR cut a really nice promo on Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Dax's promo here where he says, you're going to have to ask the Queen of the Mountain, and he's like, I'm not talking about that bitch of a wife of yours, Karen, talking about Dixie Carter. Oh, dude, that got me right there. If you've ever watched TNA back in the day when, Jeff and them were there, that line was nuclear right there. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I thought FTR kind of also, again, this is why I thought it was a great go-home show. I think a lot of this is another one where I thought FTR pulled out a really good promo performance for them. I don't want to say hokey, to describe it, but sometimes it's a little rah-rah, and that's kind of all there is to it. Like, this was good. This was really good, actually. I thought that even like FTR Hair doing his thing before FTR Bald grabbed the mic, like I thought Cash was really good too. I think Cash says it would be easy to call you carnies, but you have outsmarted us every single step of the way here. Dax talking about how he's not going to let a couple of TNA rejects be on top of the mountain here in AEW. Obviously, the lines you said were just great. And then for me, I mean, I guess they kind of salvaged it at the end. Mark Briscoe's involvement in this segment was kind of like, I didn't really buy it. So Mark comes out and, you know, he's upset that Dax pile drived him last week, which obviously, you know, it's the logic of you kind of got to suspend your disbelief where like these wrestlers don't watch the shows back.
Yes.
And nobody tells them what happened. So I get that. But then you kind of have Dax say, I apologize, shake my hand. And Mark doesn't do it. And I just think that came off as kind of a swing and a miss. I'm just like, I could understand if Dax decided to be like hot-headed, but Dax was like, I'm an adult. I'm a grown man. You're a grown man. I apologize. It was a mistake. Even though I didn't intend for it to happen, it happened. I'm sorry. Shake my hand and let's move on. And Mark's just kind of like, no. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, the part where he slapped his hand away, I do have to agree. Like, that was a little, you know, unbelievable or non-believable for me. But man, he tells him to shake his hand again, and Mark just slaps the piss out of Dax. Dude, I lost my mind, bro. I was like, holy shit. That was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, that was crazy. And Mark bails out of the ring. Like, that was wild.
Yeah. When he slapped him, I was just kind of like, why? Why are you slapping him? He tried to apologize. He even said like, hey, bro, I fucked up. You know, I'm sorry. Are we cool? And he's like, no, we're not cool. I'm like, why? Like, this is ridiculous.
I'm thinking maybe it felt a little disingenuous the way Dax was like, I'm sorry, shake my hand. Do it. You know what I mean?
I guess, but I don't know. And I understand why they're doing it in the sense of the storyline, because you want them to have that, oh, maybe Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal will win the titles on Sunday. So I get it. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But for me, it just kind of was like, that doesn't really check out. But they kind of salvage it. So at the end, they cut, you know, he slaps him. Mark slaps Dax. He rolls out of the ring. Jeff Jarrett and the gang, the you know, TNA guys, they're like, hey, man. And she really like, I don't know how, I hope Carrie Jarrett's okay, because it looked like he didn't slap her. He like decked her almost. And
he
then
was trying to shove her, but he kind of more gave her a karate chop to the shoulder. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, jeez.
She was like,
Yeah. But so he's pushing people out of the way. And then so he gets to the top of the stage and he says to Jay Lethal, he's like, you're my friend, you're my boy, but I'm sick of this bullshit, basically. And so Satnam does not have a mic on him. I don't know if you caught this, but as Mark is walking away, it picks up very brief, like very low on the mic. Satnam's like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he said that.
Oh, I missed it.
He's like, yeah, go back and watch. He definitely says that, because I was watching it and he's just like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, damn, Satnam. I mean, like, cool, I guess, but
yeah, man, he slapped Jeff Jarrett the same way he slapped Dax. So, you know, I think they were really showing us that Mark is sick of all this shit and he's not going to be on anyone's side in this. So
right.
It got to where it needed to be at the end of this here. You know, I thought this was a great segment.
Yeah, and I get that. That's why I said I think at the end of the day they were kind of able to salvage it a little bit, where he's not mad at Dax for the pile driver. He's mad at Dax for being in the middle of all this, and so I can understand that.
Yeah. All right, next up we had it was Sammy Guevara's turn for his promo tonight with Renee Paquette. Renee Paquette oddly lets Sammy Guevara know that MJF's offer is still on the table for him to lay down and let MJF pick up the win. Sammy says absolutely not, and he actually cuts a really nice promo on MJF here, you know, saying you're not winning, man. I'm taking this belt from you. I thought this was a good promo from Sammy.
Yeah, I thought this was great. I think Sammy's been low key really killing it in this storyline. I don't think he's getting enough credit personally. I mean, yeah, he's a babyface. That's fine. Also take note that this is the second week in a row that he was not with Jericho at all. Just keep in mind that. Um, Sammy Guevara, he says, I'm not for sale, MJF. People have tried to buy me out of my dreams my entire life. Jobs have offered me promotions with the one caveat being that I grow up and be a part of the real world. And he says, like, well, Max, this is the real world. I'm main eventing a pay-per-view, and I'm taking the world title from you this Sunday. And again, thought it was excellent. I thought this was absolutely excellent.
Yeah, I did as well, man. You did a much better job of explaining Sammy's promo than I did. So,
Well, I'm the promo guy of the group, you know that, of the duo.
yes.
But no, it's just great. It's just really good. And Sammy has really, in my opinion, kind of hit that stride right now where he's kind of undone the bad that he kind of, like, what happened with him and his old fiance and Ty, all that stuff happened, and it did get him a lot of heat. But like, kudos to him for really just kind of putting his head down and working through it. And now here he is coming on the other side, and like, shit, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I want Sammy to win on Sunday. Like, I really do. Like, this guy, he's got this dream, and like, fuck, I bought in a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It's been really good.
I don't know if I can handle that, man, but we'll see. All right, next up, we had the House of Black Open House Challenge. House Rules match. We had the House of Black versus Blake Christian, AR Fox, and Metalik for the AEW Trios Championship. Absolutely love these House Rules matches. The new lighting in the crowd where they darken the crowd again, but there was this weird like Twilight Zone effect going on in the crowd. It looked so cool on screen. I can't imagine that the crowd was too thrilled with it though. It looked like the white light would have been like right in their eyes, but they didn't seem phased too much, but this looked so good on my screen. What about yours?
I loved it. I liked it a lot. I think that I preferred last week's version, which was more
I'll agree.
With the like lights out, with the video board still kind of like having the ashes flying a little bit. I thought that was way better. But I mean, I'll take it. Whatever reason. I mean, we saw it last week during the commercial break. They turned some lights on. Whatever reason they I mean, obviously it's probably a safety reason, but no, it was awesome. And I really like the dealer's choice this week. And I know we had some critiques about the dealer's choice last week where it was just like, oh, Julia's banned from ringside. But I think that there is a lot of cool ideas that they can explore. And I thought this week was a great idea where it's one man in, one man out, and no tags being required. I just thought it was a really neat little idea that they did, and it flowed really well, and it was awesome. This is a really good match, and House of Black is just so fucking cool.
Dude, that one man in, no tags required thing was so cool. Sometimes when you see tag matches just kind of get all chaotic and guys are just running around and jumping in and, it's just everybody versus everybody, the tag klaxon goes off and everybody just goes at it. Sometimes it gets a little messy. The way that they did this looked and just came across so awesome to me. I absolutely loved this special rule for this match.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it was a really fun match, and it was a good pairing too. AR Fox consistently delivering on TV. Love to see it. Blake Christian. I'm a Blake Christian guy. I like Blake.
Yeah, he's cool.
He does some really good work in the ring.
Yeah. And it was good to see that rule was actually used for a real rule this week. I do agree, Ed. And what a rule it was, huh, Ed? I mean, like, did you enjoy that rule, Ed? I thought, as far as tag team matches go, I would have never thought of that. That was a very outside the box thinking on a rule. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed it.
So, yeah, and I can kind of give them the pass for the first week in a sense that, like, they wanted to get people used to this match with the rules that they were using. So I could see, like, okay, start off with the first one being kind of like a weaker dealer's choice where it's like Julia banned from ringside, which in the kayfabe makes sense. I mean, Julia has interfered in matches before. It's not like she's incapable of doing that. So in a
Yeah.
kayfabe sense, it does make sense for Julia to do it, to be
If
banned.
they would have said it that way instead of being like, "Oh, spooky witches are banned from ringside," if they would have said like, "Julia's banned from ringside, we don't want any interference," that would have actually made more sense.
But Best Friends are more of a comedy duo. They were literally going by
I know.
the name of Best Amigos last week because Bandito was part of them.
Yeah, and like Ed says, you know,
The same
Danhausen
thing.
should have been there for that joke if they were gonna do the, you know, but I agree. I think it was fine the way it was, but I'm glad they used a real rule for this one. It led to some really cool spots where every time someone did a dive to the outside, the next man was able to get in the ring. You know what I mean? So the next guy would do his dive, and then the next guy would get in the ring and do his dive. It led to a dive heavy match, you know. And if you enjoy tope suicidas and flips over the top rope, this was the match for you because this was great.
So what I want to see eventually from the dealer's choice, I really want to see them kind of do some experimentation in terms of the styles of wrestling. I would love to see it where it's like striking only in a wrestling, you know what I mean?
Ooh,
Or like and like you could do it in a way where every member of the House of Black can kind of have like their moment. Like so like with the striking, obviously you would get Malachi in there. Maybe you have
Mhm.
like only technical wrestling or maybe like pure rules where it's like, okay, well that's Buddy's wheelhouse, and then I don't know, Brody. you have to just destroy them. That's the rule. You have to destroy your opponent.
I
Absolutely.
really like that, man. Oh man, I like that
Yeah,
a lot.
it's great. But so this is awesome. I just absolutely love the open house.
Yeah, and this finish, man, this is one of my favorite finishes in a trios match I've seen in a long time, if not ever. So, Buddy puts AR Fox in a reverse cloverleaf. I do believe that is Rhea Ripley's submission as well in WWE. His girlfriend, by the way, if you guys do not know that. Um, um, I'm sorry, that made me completely forget. Malachi Black's name. Malachi puts Metalik into a knee bar, and Blake Christian gets hung over the apron by Brody King, and all three guys put into a submission for the finish here. AR Fox taps out, and the other two guys just they go out as well. This was one of my favorite finishes to a trios match. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
It says, I don't know how they pull it off without someone dying, but a 6-man tag dog collar match. Oh, God. Dude, I don't know how you would do that either, dude. It would just be a mess. You'd have to be really confident to pull that off. That seems like that would be a mess.
Yeah, that would be scary. I don't know how they would do that.
Yeah. All right, next up was a Elite reunion recap, a little video package of the last couple weeks of the interaction between the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. And then the Blackpool Combat Club cut a promo backstage. Can you take this one away here, Rome? You are much better with the promos than me. Danielson started off on the promo here, right?
Yeah, Danielson started off, and man, it's just they are doing just such a great job at selling this pay-per-view. For me, it was more so Mox in this promo. Mox was just, he's like, we are the best in the world. This is the major leagues. Everyone compared to us is just amateurs. And he holds his hand out and he's like, look at this. My hand's not shaking. It was just, man, like, again, this is why I think it was a great go home show, because it was just almost every single segment made me so excited for the pay-per-view. And like, this Anarchy in the Arena is like it's my most anticipated match of the year so far, I would say. It's going to be really good. It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, I can't wait for that Anarchy in the Arena match as well. All right. Next up, we had MJF coming out to the ring. As he's about to be introduced, he comes over to the announcer's table, or what do you call it, the commentary table.
Yep.
And he grabs Tony Schiavone's, I guess, coffee. Taz said it was really hot water, but I'm gonna say it was coffee because it looked like coffee. And he takes a sip of it, and as Tony Schiavone tries to reach out and grab it back from him, he splashes it right in Tony Schiavone's face, man. Taz, do you think Taz's laughing was meant to be, do you think that was a shoot or not?
I think it was a shoot because even Excalibur started laughing.
Yeah.
They MJF got them. He absolutely got
Oh
them.
man.
MJF starts walking down to the ring, spits on a fan, legitimately spits on a fan. Which, I mean, maybe it was a plant. I don't know, but it didn't look like a plant. No, so Jeff, there was something I really enjoyed about this. So MJF comes down, he says that, Las Vegas is Sin City, where it should just be called Virgin Vegas. And he says, people from Vegas are such losers. And I was like, amen, facts, complete truth. People from Vegas, just the biggest fucking marks, the biggest losers I've ever met in my entire life. Not that I've met many people from Vegas, mind you. But it is what it is. So at that point, MJF gets to the ring. He starts talking about the pillars. And MJF, he went out and he sold the pay-per-view. Yeah, again, I think that this is another one. MJF's, he's talking about how he's feeling, and he's like, I want Sammy to put stick his tongue out so far that he plugs it into a socket and electrocutes himself. I want Darby to climb Mount Rushmore like he says he's going to with his shoes untied. I hope Jack gets thrown into an echo chamber where he has to hear himself talk and he bores himself to death. Now, so he does that part where he takes care of himself, puts himself over, and then he goes off and starts talking about how they're the pillars. And he's like, we're homegrown. And that's not just a caveat, like that is factual. We are the guys who did not have the cheat code of being on national television before the birth of AEW. He said 4 years ago, none of you knew who any of us were. And yet we've given you the best moments and the best matches of this company's history. We're not just a part of AEW, we are AEW. And I'm just like, I don't know how the clapping is going to come out on the mic, but, I'm just applauding this. This was just so well done. You have MJF, he has to put himself over because he is feuding with these guys. But then he goes and he puts them over in such a strong way. Like, just excellent, masterfully done. And then he does this thing that, like, I don't like it. It just feels so cheap. He starts talking about the contract stuff again. He says, I'm bored and sick of this place. He says, Tony Khan's hitting the panic button. He's trying to throw things against the wall, trying to take the belt from me so that way I don't leave the company with the belt. He said, it's my ball. I've earned the ball. None of them are on the level of the devil. And so I'm sitting here and I'm just like, man, why do we have to do the bidding war thing? Because, like, I get why he does it. It's supposed to get a negative reaction from the AEW fans, because obviously there is a stigma about WWE with AEW fans. I mean, there are some who watch both, like Jeff, but generally speaking, there is a large portion of the AEW fan base that do get heat with that kind of stuff. But for me, I just feel like the AEW fan base is so smart that, like, it kind of just doesn't work. Like, you can maybe make that work with a WWE crowd. I think a WWE crowd, you could get them to work and, like, buy into that. Like, okay, wow, he's gonna leave this company. Screw this guy. I mean, like, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I think it just comes off as cheap, and it's literally like the worst part of MJF's gimmick and his shtick. And I'm just like, okay, it doesn't even generate heat at this point. It just generates eye rolls for me. Where I'm just like, okay, well.
Yeah.
I
definitely got to agree with the eye roll thing. Whenever he says that stuff now, I'm just like, oh god.
I mean, and there's always there's a subsection of every fan base everywhere where they're idiots in the Twitter. I mean, if we've seen anything, Twitter's not a real place, man.
Yeah, Twitter's not a place to gauge the intelligence of anyone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, when CM Punk when the United Center was announced tonight, I mean, it was a pretty positive reaction. There were a few people who booed it a little bit, but I mean, it was a pop. I saw a video of, like, a fan video of the announcement, and it was popped. If you went off of the Twitter discourse, you would say it's probably more like 60-40 anti-Punk. The 60 being anti-Punk. I don't think it's going to be the case for these live audiences. That's just my prediction. That's just my prediction. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But
Well,
yeah,
Michael Duke says MJF will lose the title no matter what. I don't know, Mike. I don't know, man.
yeah, we
We'll
will
see.
see. So at this point, Darby Allin comes out, and Darby says, I've lost a lot in my life, but the one thing I haven't lost is myself. He talks about how he was in high school, and when he graduated high school in Seattle, people told him to just kind of coast, just, take it easy, low stakes, whatever. And he's like, I ended up working at the dollar store cleaning toilets, which I don't know. I've never been in a dollar store that has bathrooms used for the public, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. I don't know what's going on the West Coast.
It's a good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah, but whatever, man. I get it. Maybe
Well,
he
they
had
gotta
to
have
clean, like,
toilets for the employees, right?
yeah, right. Maybe somebody blew up the employee toilet, and he was like, I gotta go in there clean. He's like, I'm gonna talk about this someday.
Oh, the dude in the stock room blew that shit up. Oh yeah.
Right, exactly. But he goes on to say that didn't get me anywhere. He's like, I packed up all my shit. I moved to Georgia, and I lived out of my car, and I would talk to myself when I'm, when sleeping in the car about how you are going to stay in this car until you make it. You're going to stay on this path. And he's like, thank God AEW came along for the sake of my sanity. He says, this company lets me be me. It gives me something that no other company can offer me. He's like, I get to skateboard with Tony Hawk. I get to drive a car over my house. I'm blanking on the name that he said he did it with. But it's someone famous who does that type of stuff. I'm blanking. Anyways, he's like, I need to become the face of AEW. And to do that, I need to become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And he said, maybe I'll beat you with a headlock takeover. And that's the story right here. Like, that is out of all the pillars, like, obviously all the pillars have their Travis Pastrana. Thank you, Ed. Obviously all the pillars have stories with MJF. For me, the most enticing one, admittedly, is Darby and MJF. I really think that someday, I don't think it's going to be Sunday, but whatever. When Darby does eventually beat MJF, he's going to beat him with a headlock takeover. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah, they're definitely. This is going to be a long-term storyline thing. That's going to happen for sure one day.
Yeah, that headlock takeover is like the whole basis of their rivalry, and I think it's awesome. So MJF, he low blows Darby. Sammy comes out, makes the save. And then as MJF runs away, Jack ambushes MJF and lays him out.
Oof. Yeah, so I really liked how MJF kind of got stuck on the ramp there in between Darby Allin in the ring and Jungle Boy on the outside, with Sammy in the ring as well.
Mm-hmm.
That actually came across really well to me. I actually really liked that.
Yeah, and I thought the dynamic of how involved everybody was actually really made a lot of sense here. It made sense for Darby to be the one to go out and confront MJF. It made sense for Sammy to be the one to save Darby, and it made sense for Jack to be the one more focused on knocking out MJF.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a watch along party. You talk about for Double or Nothing? I was thinking about it, man. I really like doing the watch alongs, but we shall see. We'll see.
The Curly's order needs to be placed.
Oh, it'll be placed. No problem.
It'll be placed.
All right. So that was great. Jungle Boy clotheslines MJF. He stands tall holding the belt. It's going to be an interesting one on Sunday, but I'm not going to give my prediction now because we got a prediction show on Friday. So we'll leave it at that.
Please save your predictions till Friday.
Yep. All right. Next up, we had a Wardlow promo. He cut himself a nice promo on Christian. Saying, Christian, you're known for your ladder matches. He's like, well, I won the Face of the Revolution ladder match, so am I. And he's going to shove that ladder down Christian's throat. And Arn Anderson, did you catch this? That Arn Anderson called the ladder an 80-pound steel ladder?
Right.
I was like, 80 pounds, huh, Arn? I was like, that's a pretty big-ass ladder, dude.
That's just Arn putting it over. He's putting the ladder over, which makes the ladder more dangerous and makes the ladder more. He's working, man. That's great.
Absolutely.
That is some old school wrestling mentality stuff right there. That is absolutely really good. Yeah, I thought this was nice. I think Wardlow's promo was kind of overshadowed by almost every single other promo on the show tonight. I think like it sucks because it's not a bad promo. But like I think everyone else's was better. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Yeah, you're definitely right on that one. But when you're not the greatest of a whole bunch of great things, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Did that even come across? I don't even know. Next up, we had Taya Valkyrie versus Lady Frost. And man, I'm a huge fan of Lady Frost. She is an excellent worker in the ring here. I hope they sign her to maybe Ring of Honor or something like that. I know she's been performing over there in Ring of Honor and here in AEW. I thought this was a decent match, showing off some Taya Valkyrie skills, and they had Jade up there on the ramp watching the match. What'd you think of this one?
All right, so I have 2 takeaways for this match, right? Excuse me. So, takeaway number 1, I really like Lady Frost. She's dope. I think she's gonna get signed. I think they gave her a full TV entrance. So
They did, yeah.
so for me, that's like she's probably gonna get signed. I always forget she's actually from Erie, Pennsylvania, not too far from here. So that's cool. My second takeaway is Taya Valkyrie. I'm just gonna say it. She's kind of mid.
I'm with you a little bit.
I didn't think the match was very good, and I don't put it on Frost. I don't know. Taya hasn't done anything since getting to AEW that has made me go like, this is awesome. She should be the one that beats Jade. And I'm just not feeling it. Like her entrance is decent. I think she has a pretty good entrance, which I mean, like, again, like I do enjoy the spectacle side of pro wrestling, believe it or not.
Yeah.
An awesome entrance is a big plus for me. But it's just like outside of the entrance, I'm just not really a fan, and it doesn't help that she does have the same finisher as Jade, which obviously they've done a decent story behind like not using the finisher, this, that, and the third. But like she doesn't even have a unique finisher because Jade's already doing the same finisher, and Jade's been here for 2 years now. So it's kind of like Taya doesn't really have anything going for her, and I mean, like, it's nice to bring her in. I think she deserves to be on the division, the roster. I don't think she's like garbage, but she's just kind of like she's fine. I mean, I don't think she should be competing for a title, but that's just me.
No, I think she's a good worker as well. Taya just looks like she's kind of slowed down a little bit. I like what Ed says here. She's kind of made for the WWE. She's got the look, but slow and clunky. Not sure I would use the clunky word, but I'm kind of there. Now, I disagree on the doesn't know how to take a Hurricane Rana thing. She's basically trained in lucha. I'm sure it's just, just getting, I don't know. I agree with what you said. She's a little mid for me. And I don't put any of that on Frost at all. I really do hope Jade gets her 60th win here. It would feel a little awkward for her to be the one to take the belt from Jade. But on the other side of that, we all have been thinking that they're waiting for Statlander to come back to take the title, right? I've actually gotten to the point where I think Statlander is so good. Well, haven't really seen her in about a year now to continue saying that, but I think they should scrap that and put her in the AEW Women's World Championship picture instead.
I don't disagree with that sentiment. We'll see.
Yeah, but maybe this broken ankle with Mercedes is throwing some more wrenches and some more stuff. We'll see, but
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff going on right now in the women's division. I like it. All right, well, Ataya does hit the road to Valhalla for the 1, 2, 3, the same move as the Jaded. Jade was watching up on the ramp, kind of congratulates Taya. So we'll see how that goes on Sunday. Next up was Tony Khan with his announcement for AEW Collision Saturday, June 17th from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. And we instantly got massive CM Punk chants. You could hear them all the way through the arena. I can't wait, man. The second coming. It's going to be awesome.
We're so back, Jeff. We are so fucking back.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait.
I'm excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Oh, I can't wait for Collision, man. And you know what? It's in Chicago. I have made that 13-hour drive before. but we shall see what happens because I'm already doing the whole Canada thing. Oh,
I'll tell you
jeez.
what, if you buy the tickets to June 17th, I'll go. But I'm broke right now, so I don't know.
We'll see how
Yeah.
that goes.
With a big smile. Look, man, again, I've said it a lot, and I do play it up for jokes sometimes, you know, with the CM Punk and Do No Wrong, even though that was more so Jeff that started that gimmick, but he's my favorite wrestler. What do you want me to do? Tiger Style put out a really great video. His edits are fucking amazing. I put it in the Discord. It's another one about CM Punk coming back, and it's my guy, man. You know, it's my guy. I don't know what you want me to say. I love him.
Yeah, can't wait, man. I can't
I
wait.
almost I really thought about it, but when they announced the United Center, I stood up and I was like, I gotta go to Wawa and get a cherry Pepsi or a Pepsi to drink, and I don't even like Pepsi like that. But then I was like, oh fuck no, I'm gonna miss the show, and then I'm gonna be late for the pod. Can't do it. I should have
Yo.
prepared. I should have prepared more.
So check this out. Since Pepsi came and bribed Curly's into getting rid of Coca-Cola, they gave us all their Pepsi products say made with real sugar now. Like, you know how the Coke in the glass bottle is made with real sugar? So all the Pepsi stuff we have says made with real sugar, and I tried it and it's actually decent. I was very surprised that I was like, this is way better than normal Pepsi.
I'm still more of a
So-
Coke guy personally, but
So am I.
yeah.
But, you know, Pepsi Man.
I make
awesome,
an
so-
exception for CM Punk. If CM Punk gave me a Pepsi, I would drink it.
Oh, I'd slam it. I'd be
Absolutely.
like Stone Cold with a beer, man. I'd be like, smash. Ah. All right, next up, we had Hangman Adam Page doing an interview with Alex Marvez in the back, basically saying the Elite are a family. And he says, you know, the Blackpool Combat Club, they're not ready. The price is too high, and they're going to pay in blood. I
So
fucking loved that line.
I love this whole promo. So Hangman, you know, to elaborate on the family line. So Hangman says he's like, hey, you know, like me and the Bucks, or the Bucks and I, we've always been best friends. We love each other, and like we're just best friends. But me and Kenny, like, we never had that. Like, it wasn't that we were necessarily friends. And then, you know, so it's kind of like, oh, okay. And he's like, it's almost like we were something more than that. And I'm like, brothers. And he's like, family. And I'm like, close enough. It's such a great line where it's just like, yeah, that really works. That really, really works. He says, you know, we've been paying, or you know, we've been friends. I've been friends with the Bucks for, you know, how long? With me and Kenny, it's not a friendship. Like we're fucking family.
Yeah.
And like you said, that line, the price you've run up is high. Sunday you pay with blood. And I was like, sell the pay-per-view. There you go. Once again,
Oh,
another
dude.
promo that does it.
Mox and Hangman. We'll get to the Mox part later of selling this pay-per-view, but man, they both definitely, I'm like, okay, I'm sold. We're doing this. Like it's done.
I was gonna say only 1,000, Jesus, Jeff, but 10,000.
No, it was 10,000. I missed a zero. Yeah.
I was like, I'll pay. Well, I won't pay Curly 1,000.
So yeah, Pepsi literally bribed us. They're like, we'll give you guys 10 grand to switch away from Coke. And
Now,
use
see what you
Pepsi.
do is now the play is, Jeff. You let Curly know too. This is gonna work, guarantee. You take the 10, and then next year you let Coke give you 10, and then you switch
Oh,
again.
we went to Coke and we were like, yo, you guys want to, you know, at least try to match the deal? And they were like, no. And we were like, all right, see you.
Yeah, but I'm saying because they'll look at it from a sense where they want new customers. So like, will someone?
It's gonna look like the game, like the photos we saw of the game. It's gonna look like that on the turnbuckles and on the ropes.
Right.
Give me white turnbuckles and ropes for Double or Nothing, please. All right, next up we had Adam Cole, baby, in ring with Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho for a contract signing for the unsanctioned match between Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. Adam Cole grabs his pen and signs this thing immediately, and then just proceeds to cut a promo about how bad he wants to beat Chris Jericho's face in. I thought this was excellent. He says he's going to break his legs so he can't walk. He's going to break his jaw so he can't talk. He's gonna break his hands, so he can't sign. So he better hurry up and sign that paper now, bitch. And my people, my crowd in Las Vegas start chanting, "Sign it, bitch! Sign it, bitch!" And Jericho, the douchebag he is, says, "I'm not a bitch. I'm not from Las Vegas." To that, I say, "Fuck off, Jericho."
Jeff, you just have to accept that the people of Las Vegas are a bunch of fucking losers. Such losers that you, one of the cooler losers, fled Las Vegas to get away from Las Vegas.
I can't deny that I did flee the city of Las Vegas.
Exactly. I'm giving you what's called in the business a backhanded compliment right now.
I do have to agree with that one. Thank you.
You're welcome. This is awesome. No, I mean, number one, it's great that it's going to be an unsanctioned match. I loved how believable Adam Cole, not just through the whole feud, but tonight especially, he is. Like, he was shaking with anger. He grabs the contract, and he's like, not even like he doesn't even like he's dropping it a little bit. He's just shaking with anger. And he says, "For weeks, I couldn't sleep. I wonder why you did what you did." He said, "I'm glad this is an unsanctioned match because the blood won't be on AEW's hands. It'll be on mine,
It'll be
and that's
on
how I
mine."
want it." And like you say, he says, "I'm gonna break your leg." He's like, "Well, you're gonna find out if you can walk because I'm gonna break your legs." He's like, "You're gonna find out if you can talk because I'm gonna shatter your jaw." And he's like, "I'm gonna find out if you can still write because I'm gonna break your hands. Sign the paper, bitch." I ain't no bitch. I'm not from Las Vegas. So good. I was dying. Fuck Las Vegas, man. Let me tell you. And its residents, except for the ones that watch the show. Love you guys. So then Jericho which by the way, I don't think I've ever seen a bad contract signing with Chris Jericho in it.
No, that was actually good.
Jericho plays the clip on repeat of Britt taking the kendo stick. And he says, "What kind of man would let his woman get beat up like that and just sit there and take it?" It's like, "You're not going to end me. We have a numbers game." And so I'm thinking Red Dragon, right? I'm thinking Red Dragon's about to come out.
So was I.
And I think we might still get that at the pay-per-view. But Jeff, so I got to keep the gimmick going, so I'm just going to do this. So I've been an AEW fan. Excuse me. Being from Philadelphia, ECW is extremely important to me. We've talked about it multiple times. It's, the way the Coug cares about the Mexican heritage in wrestling and and such and such. Like, for me, ECW is very important. It holds an extremely important place in my heart. And so when Adam Cole says, "I made a call," and when he says the genocidal, I instantly knew. I was like, "No, the fuck you didn't. No, the fuck we are not." He does suicidal, genocidal, homicidal. I'm sorry, he starts with homicidal. That's how much I was freaking out. Sabu. And Sabu comes out, which, Mikey Ruckus redid Sabu's music so that way they could use it to be basically what his ECW music was. It's very similar, but it's not the same. I would argue it's almost better. If not, it is better. And man, Sabu comes out, he does the thing. Taz is on commentary marking out. I'm freaking out, marking out. And you know what? I just love this company. I love this fucking company for stuff like this. It's 2023 and Tony Khan in a spot that doesn't really make it makes sense, but it also isn't like a logical thing to do. He fucking brought Sabu in, and now we get to give Sabu his flowers. AW is gonna give Sabu his flowers.
Yeah. Now, my question here for you is, how does Adam Cole know Sabu?
Well, I mean, you could just argue that it's an unsanctioned match. He says that Sabu currently lives in Vegas, so he wouldn't have to travel far. So, I mean, if you were going to have someone to back you up in an unsanctioned fight, Sabu makes a lot of sense.
So it does make sense because Jericho's faced Sabu in the past. Michael says that in the chat. That makes sense too as well. So
they
that's pretty
faced
cool.
each other in the original ECW. Yes.
So that makes all the perfect sense then. That's awesome, actually.
It does.
Wow, okay.
But I've watched between commercial breaks. I watched Sabu coming out, and debuting in AEW so many times.
Nice.
It's a really awesome moment for me. I beg Tony Khan at some point this weekend, whether it be on Rampage or during the pay-per-view, can we get Taz and Sabu and Hook on camera? Like, please. I don't know what I got to do to make that happen, but I need Taz and Sabu to have like some sort of on-camera like sup or like.
So I was kind of popping when Sabu's music hit. Did Taz have any sort of reaction? Did anybody catch a reaction from Taz?
Yeah, no, he was definitely He was popping. He was marking out a little bit. He's like, "What? No way! What?" Now, but also keep in mind that like Taz, like in the kayfabe, is probably a little scared of Sabu because Sabu and him, they had some wars.
There's a spot in wrestling history. I don't remember who they that it was in. It was like a trios type thing or a 3-way dance. Taz had the Taz mission on somebody, and Sabu came in with a chair and just obliterates Taz right in the face. And Taz no-sells it and laughs at him, dude. It was one of the craziest spots I've ever seen in my life.
Well, so Taz was the one that broke Sabu's neck in ECW.
Oh, okay.
And so there was a lot of it was a big ECW feud. The way that like Raven and Tommy Dreamer was a big feud, like Taz and Sabu also had that weird thing where like they were a tag team, but then they also fought and like a whole bunch of history there. But so yeah, I think Taz did it was one of his Taz mission. It was one of his Taz plexes or whatever, where it was kind of like he grabs him and then like flips him backwards, and he landed on his neck. And I think even like when it happened, I think ECW even like a future episode they like stopped it and they showed how his neck like was snapped. It was crazy. It's been years. At least that's what I remember that being a thing. I'm not 100% sure. I might look it up real quick. But yeah.
Ed said he posted that in. Let me see if I could see who it was. All right. But this was great. Just as Daddy Magic is about to attack, Adam Cole tosses a chair to Sabu, and Chabear, what the hell was that? And Sabu throws the chair into Daddy Magic's face. Was it Bam Bam Bigelow? You could be correct there, Coog. I can't find. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is Bam Bam Bigelow. It's right in front of my face. Yep. Perfect. Nice call. Yeah, Taz just flips him off and no-sells it. It's fucking awesome. All right, so that was great. Sabu hits Daddy Magic in the face with the chair, and that runs off the Jericho Appreciation Society. Everybody except for Garcia, and I really, really enjoyed how they kind of segued this into Daniel Garcia's match. Daniel Garcia climbs into the ring, essentially, getting ready for his match. But there was a quick promo for Jamie Hayter for her match against Toni Storm in between here. It wasn't long enough to really talk about, just Jamie Hayter saying she's going to beat Toni Storm. Awesome. And then Roderick Strong comes out, and we had a pretty decent match between Daniel Garcia and Roderick Strong. You know, the one thing I'm starting to notice here, though, I really like Daniel Garcia in the ring. His charisma just needs a boost somehow. Just something about, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Just, he needs a little bit of a bump again. He needs to get out of that Jericho Appreciation Society, I think. I think that's what it is. He's kind of in the shadows, you know?
Yeah, no offense to this match, but I was so on a high of Sabu like coming out, and like I didn't really watch this match much. I was kind of like, I was freaking out on Twitter with everyone else.
You're good. You're good. It was a good match, you know. Just like I said, though, Garcia just struggles with a little bit of charisma. I do think he needs to leave the JAS. He's just, yeah, he's definitely not over any of the guys that are in the JAS. Like, I'll take Daddy Magic over him right now. I mean, maybe he's better. He's over Cool Hand, but, you know, give me Hager, give me Jericho, all those guys. So he needs to separate himself for sure. I hope that's where they're leading this to. Roderick Strong does take the win in this one. He hits the End of Heartache, a really cool looking finisher. That's also the name of the song for his ring music. Roderick gets the 1, 2, 3, picks up the win. Next up, we had a interesting promo here from Willow Nightingale. She cuts a promo on the video from her winning the New Japan Women's Strong Championship. She had her match against Mercedes Moné, earlier this week, and I do believe it's been confirmed. I think I'm not positive it's confirmed, but we believe Mercedes has a broken ankle, leading to Willow taking the win here. But I'm seeing a lot of stuff that makes me feel like Willow was actually steered to be the winner anyway.
No. So, it is a broken ankle. She's going to be out for like 2 months. I believe that was the time frame. She was not supposed to win. Mercedes was supposed to be the winner of the match. But you make the best out of a bad situation, and I think that it was an absolute star-making performance for Willow. Willow getting the win over Mercedes was huge, just crazy big. And it was an awesome moment for Willow. The irony was not lost on me that Mercedes Moné's AEW debut was her taking the pin in a video package. That was not lost on me at all. But yeah, I mean, I think that this was just an awesome moment for Willow, and I'm really happy for her. It was just obviously it wasn't planned, but I implore AEW to run with this. And I think that this
Yeah.
video package was them doing that, where they were like, okay, like Willow's already hot, and now she's like on fire. She did beat Mercedes in what was an excellent match, even by its own, even though it was cut short, and you roll with it. And I think we start seeing Willow in some. You should start seeing Willow in some pretty high profile stuff. At least that's what I would do.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because that championship's called the New Japan Pro Wrestling Women's Strong Championship, right?
Yeah, it's
And
a strong
dude,
style.
everything about Willow just screams strong. You know what I mean? Like her pounce, her finisher, all that stuff. So I feel like this might be one of those happy accidents for them. I think this is going to go over really well with Willow.
I agree.
And, get well soon to Mercedes. Really was hoping to see her at Forbidden Door. That's a big bummer, but maybe she'll show up in some capacity. We'll see. Next up was time for the main event. This was for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. We had the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Lucha Brothers, who are the Ring of Honor Tag Champions. We had Bryan Danielson on commentary for this one. And man, I love when Bryan Danielson is on commentary. He adds to the commentary team every single time. And it's always it's phenomenal when he's on the commentary team. I love it. It even gives him the opportunity to cut the camera over to his face, because he's got great facial reactions to the match as well. Love Danielson. Absolutely love him. So this match was pretty decent here, but the match wasn't what this was all about. We did get a really awesome giant swing from Claudio and the drop kick combo from Wheeler Yuta to Rey Fenix. When he's doing that giant swing and you get the drop kick combo, that looks nasty, man. Like, you got to time that really good, or it's either going to look like shit or it's going to fucking hurt someone, and they nail it every time they do that.
Yeah.
So we got a really nice hot tag to Penta. Wheeler Yuta hit a monster splash off the top rope. He had a little bit of a lackadaisical cover here. Only got the 2.999. And it was interesting. Danielson started berating him on commentary. He was like, "Oh, we're gonna kick Wheeler's ass in training, because that weak pin he just did. We always teach him to pin down both shoulders." That's one of those things I'm talking about with Danielson. He adds so much to these matches. Like, nobody would have thought that was a really lackadaisical cover, but when Danielson says it, you're just immediately like, "Yep, that was a lackadaisical cover. How dare you, Wheeler?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely loved this. So the Lucha Brothers, Claudio, he's about to try to make the save on Wheeler Yuta getting pinned, and the Young Bucks appear from out of nowhere from under the ring. They both grab onto Claudio, stop him from making the save, and the Lucha Brothers pick up the 1, 2, 3, and they wind up super kicking Claudio on the outside. And they take off into the audience. this was a fan freaking tastic ending to this Dynamite. And the Blackpool Combat Club, they all spill into the ring, and Jon Moxley cuts this promo that literally I would buy this pay-per-view to see this match alone. I mean, he says Anarchy in the Arena is going to be the most violent match in AEW history. Now, Rome, have you ever known Mr. Moxley to be a liar?
No, I would not, Jeff.
Have you ever known him to make a promise of some sort like this and to not deliver on it?
The only more truer statement that Jon Moxley could make is if he said that Las Vegas and all of its inhabitants were a bunch of mouth breathing hicks. Like, that is the only thing I can think of that would be more truer thing to say than what he said tonight.
This is all going to come back to haunt you at the end of this tournament, sir. Mark
I
my
don't think
words.
so. I don't think so at all. You have a rough road to victory.
Hey man, I'm gonna take the Corey Paths route, man. Adversity. I had to go through all that adversity before I finally come and take this
I would say
championship
make
from
it
you.
through the first round first, bud. But no, I mean, I think that there's some real poetic justice also for it to be the Lucha Bros that the Bucks help here. That's some low key great storytelling that people don't really ever think about sometimes. The fact that it was that rivalry, the Lucha Bros and the Bucks, and they're on the same side at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great, and like you said, Mox just with the promise that he says that this will be the most violent match in AEW history. Full stop. Like, that's what it's gonna be.
Whew.
That's what it's gonna be.
I mean, is it going to be more violent than the last Anarchy in the Arena match? My God.
Yeah, that one was pretty wild. So I don't know. I mean, if they say it will be, I'm gonna take their word for it.
Me too, man. I mean, Mox ain't a liar, and Danielson, when Mox, I forget what exact words he said that made Danielson laugh, but oh my God, I think it was something about the copious amounts of blood, and Danielson just started smiling and laughing, and when he looked back at the camera, he like licked his lips, dude, and I was like, oh my God, this dude's gonna murder somebody.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say about this also is I would hate to have to be predicting this one for points.
Oh yeah.
That's a rough one. That is a really rough one right there.
That's gonna be, oh my goodness, that's gonna be wild. But let's go back over to show the bracket once here real quick before we get over to our Actually, you know what? Let's do Rampage first. So that's the end of our Dynamite here. What do we have going on this week for Rampage? Our Go Home Rampage show.
So do you want me to do Rampage and the pay-per-view card, or just Rampage right now?
Yeah, you know what? Go ahead and do them both.
Okay. So on Rampage this week, we have trios action. LFI will be taking on the Acclaimed. I'm expecting the Acclaimed to challenge House of Black at the pay-per-view. That's just an expectation from me. That picture is way smaller than I thought it was going to be. Big Bill and Lee Moriarty are going to be taking on Best Friends. We will see Ethan Page and the Guns in action. Dr. Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida are teaming up to take on Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir. And that is Rampage.
Okay.
And then, oh, whoops, sorry. Hold on one second.
And then Double or Nothing. Do we have the entire card announced, or do you think there's any more matches?
I think we're going to get some stuff announced on Friday. I mean, let me see real quick. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 8. We have 8 matches so far.
8 matches? Okay.
I would expect maybe like 1 or 2 more to make it to the main show. And then, of course, they'll do probably the 0 hour or the buy-in. It's the buy-in because it's Double or Nothing. Anyways, this Sunday, Double or Nothing. All right, Jeff, you're going to have to speed this up also for a short. This Sunday at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Championship four-way dance, Jack Perry, MJF, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara. The TNT Championship will be on the line, a ladder match, and Wardlow takes on Christian Cage. The AEW World Tag Team Championship will be on the line with special guest referee Mark Briscoe, FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. The AEW Women's World Championship will be up for grabs. Jamie Hayter defending the title against Toni Storm. Anarchy in the Arena, the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club. An unsanctioned match with special enforcers Sabu, Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole. TBS Championship will be on the line when Jade Cargill for some reason puts her title on the line against Taya Valkyrie. And the AEW International Championship will be on the line in a blackjack battle royale with Orange Cassidy at the center of it.
Nice. All right. So there we have it for Rampage and Double or Nothing. Let's go ahead and take a look at our bracket one more time before we get out of here tonight for all of our contestants in the King's Court Invitational. Oh man, everything's there. Yeah. Still though, we got Jeffrey Vegas, Joseph Juhas, Coach Nick, Ed Weber, Purpleness, The Coog, Natasha, and The Joker. Look forward to battling with all of you guys on Sunday. Not too sure if we're going to do a watch along or not, but we will definitely be doing a post-show podcast. Make sure you guys are here for that. We'll go through all of the points and the winners and everything there. All right, Rome, you got anything else you want to go over before we get out of here?
No, I'm excited to see the King's Court Invitational start off on Sunday. I'm very excited for Double or Nothing. I think it's going to be an awesome show. I think we have some great content coming this weekend here on the channel. Just, excited on multiple levels. I think it's going to be a really good time to be had by all except for you, Jeffrey Vegas, who, what would be crazy, Jeff? It would be absolutely insane if Purpleness outlasts you in this tournament.
Yes, it would.
Let me ask you, Jeff, because again, you're in this tournament too. You have a right to speak on it. How do you feel about the competition? Who are you trying to avoid? Who are you most worried about? How are you going to feel it? Well, let's start with that. Who are you most worried about in the tournament?
So I am most worried about Ed, number one, and then Coog would be my number two. I think those are going to be our number one seeds, if you will, in the tournament. Their knowledge of wrestling is pretty deep, both of them, So those are my two that I have on my radar. But I gotta say, Purpleness was sitting here tonight with a notepad, and she was writing stuff down and everything, man. So we might all be in for a beating.
I'm glad that she's having fun with it. That's awesome. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that it actually was a good matchup there between Purple and the Coug. So again, I did not randomize this bracket. I almost every single match in the first round has a reason behind it. And I thought that Coug and Purple, just a little bit, behind the Booker, the Booker side, me with my pencil. I thought that would be a really good matchup because Coug obviously has been watching wrestling for so many years. Whereas Purple may not, obviously not as long. And I think that it was a nice little toss up of, go someone who's going to make predictions based off history and his wealth of knowledge, and someone who, has a pretty good gut instinct on these things. And, kind of
that's a good point, because I think the Coug might have the most, I would say, years of being a wrestling fan under his belt. Yep. And I think Purpleness would have the least amount of years as a wrestling fan under her belt. So I like that. We got,
Jeff, much like Tony Khan, I'm booking on multiple levels. People can try to, people got to look at the bigger picture. I'm trying to put together good, fun matches for everyone to enjoy. But yeah, no, I'm excited for the weekend. So
yeah, me too. All right, remember, guys, get your picks in before the start of the podcast on Friday night. That means right at the end of the show of Rampage. Make sure your picks are in. Rome, go ahead and close us out, sir.
All right. Well, this has been episode 144 of the Broken Tables podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us tonight, Michael and the Coug and Ed and everyone else that hung out with us. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for listening to us wherever you find us or watching us here on youtube.com. Again, this is a big weekend of content coming up with us, coming up for us to, this weekend. We have our Rampage review / prediction show / preview show Friday night, and then we will obviously I think we're going to do a watch along for Double or Nothing, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow us on Discord or join our Discord. Follow us on our social media links. Jeff already said it, but again, just a final reminder for picks. Picks are due as soon as we start the show, because the preview show, Jeff and I are going to be talking predictions. So you have to have your picks in by then, unless the match wasn't announced in time. Like if the match was announced during Rampage, I'm willing to give you a couple minutes. But generally speaking, once we get done the Rampage review, all picks are in, locked in. If you didn't get them in time, sucks to be you. Do better. Look, there's 8 of you. I'm not going to hound anybody for picks. But yeah, get your picks in. Let's have fun with it. Feel free to cut some more promos. Juhas absolutely destroyed and obliterated Jeffrey Vegas this week, as did any wrestler with a brain in Las Vegas, just destroying Las Vegas.
Yeah, that was a rough episode for me. Oof.
Jeffrey Vegas in shambles once again. But yeah, until Friday, we'll see you guys then.
Right on, everybody. Have a great night. And Top Guys out.